Over 100 years ago, the RMS Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage, only to face one of the most infamous disasters in history. But how much do you really know about the ship of dreams? Today, we're diving deep into 10 fascinating facts about the Titanic that you may have never heard before. So sit tight, hit that like button, and let's get started. Many people think the Titanic sailed alone through the Atlantic, but it wasn't the only ship on the water. The Titanic was one of 3 sister ships designed by White Star Line, and its sibling, the Olympic, actually sailed first in 1911, a year before Titanic's fateful journey. With a length of 882 feet, the Titanic was a massive engineering feat. Construction started in 1909 in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and it took more than 2 years and over 15,000 workers to complete. It was considered the epitome of luxury and innovation for its time. Contrary to popular belief, Titanic wasn't the first ship to use the SOS distress signal, but it was among the first to popularize it. At the time of the disaster, SOS was still a relatively new signal, officially adopted only 5 years earlier. One of the most tragic aspects of the sinking was the lifeboat situation. Despite the Titanic having a capacity for over 2,200 passengers, there were only 20 lifeboats on board, enough for just about half. The ship's original design called for more lifeboats, but it was decided that fewer were needed to maintain the ship's aesthetic. In one of the most heroic tales of the disaster, Titanic's band played music to calm passengers as the ship was sinking. The band famously continued to play until the very end, with their final song believed to be "Nearer, My God, to Thee." Believe it or not, a novel written in 1898 eerily predicted the Titanic disaster. Futility, by Morgan Robertson, tells the story of a massive ship called the Titan that sinks in the North Atlantic after hitting an iceberg. Sound familiar? The book was written 14 years before the Titanic even set sail. The last living survivor of the Titanic, Milvina Dean, was just 2 months old when the ship sank. She passed away in 2009 at the age of 97. Milvina never saw the ship herself, but she lived with its legacy her entire life. Before the Titanic even left for its fateful journey, it narrowly avoided disaster. As it was leaving the docks in Southampton, a nearby ship, the SS New York, was almost pulled into the Titanic's path due to suction from its massive propellers. Quick thinking from the Titanic's crew avoided what could have been a major accident. Surprisingly, the Titanic had received several iceberg warnings hours before the collision. However, many of these warnings never made it to the bridge, and the ship continued to sail at full speed despite being in a dangerous zone. Even though the Titanic sank in 1912, its wreckage remained lost for over 70 years. It wasn't until 1985 that a joint American-French expedition, led by Dr. Robert Ballard, discovered the remains of the Titanic over 12,000 feet beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.